everyone, welcome back to F1 Manager 24 Creator Team Mode, Round 18 Singapore. Don't know why I said it like that, but there is one bit of news, and that is that I've had to re-sign Olivier Carpentier. Thank you for having the most French name possible. I'm going to assume you are French. They don't get nationalities for some reason. They do have them, but they don't show them. McLaren decided they wanted him. I decided that just in case I don't get any of the F2 ones, he does have very high development rate. Figured it was worthwhile holding on to him just in case I need to actually run someone in FP1s for realism purposes more than anything else. The second thing is, and I'll admit straight up to it, I decided I was going to fix Mick Schumacher because that morale issue was stupid. So on the basis that Zane was neutral, I've put Mick on neutral as well. It has messed with what he's happy and unhappy with, but at the very least he's on exactly the same team principle-wise because he should be happy that facility upgrades have started like Zane. He shouldn't be unhappy that they're happening. So the other two bits I left as they were. Team principle I put in neutral and that has made him happy. Just trying to fix the game as I go. It's unfair to Mick that he was being made neutral mentality because the game had decided he was unhappy with facility improvements. Also, just as a side fun thing, both of the race engineers are most unhappy with the drivers, which is great for race engineers. I would have thought Gary would be most unhappy with the fact his contract's expiring. Nobody's wanted him yet, so we'll see how that one goes. It's also highly likely I will upgrade the memorabilia room following this race. It is 880 grand. Therefore, the 800 grand that we get for completing objectives will go straight into that. Hospitality area is a weird one because it does cost a reasonable amount. But that's it. So we also don't like Singapore, which is a little bit more Azerbaijani now as a track because of the elimination of that final sector. In the sense that it's a lot of now long straights with tight corners. It's got a very similar profile to Azerbaijan now, which despite the fact it says we're 19th, 20th on the grid, we did alright in. I also remembered in the off time, the game tried to stop Zane from running that race entirely. He took that personally, clearly.
Our Formula One season continues here, in the Republic of Singapore. The Marina Bay Street Circuit is lit up and ready for action, looking like some sort of scene from a science fiction movie. But the competition is real and nothing else can deliver quite like Formula One. It was Charles Leclerc who tasted victory in the last race, but he will surely be looking to find the recipe for success again and achieve another podium place. Let's see what the weekend has in store.
Why is it the high crash circuits? Why is it always the high crash circuits? Although to be fair, Zandvoort was pretty tame in the end. But Monaco, Zandvoort, Singapore, the three rainy races we've had. Heavy rain as well. Oh boy, light rain in practice. I'll have to negotiate that tyre-wise first and foremost. But yeah, all right, this is going to be fun. See if we're qualifying. Well, we got there in the end. I had to do practice 2 4 times because the issue in a car losing a aerodynamic part and therefore, for some reason, not being able to use it on the other car, like what happened in qualifying last race, is just a pervasive problem. Mick crashed at exactly the same time in practice 2 in 3 subsequent attempts. So, I don't know why, but there was a weird hard-coded crash for Mick. I eventually got round it by just pitting Mick before he got to the 10th minute, 10 minutes to go, and therefore he didn't crash. But then Sargent did. So I feel like the game had to crash someone, but because there were only 3 cars on track at that point in time, it for some reason just picked Mick every time. And then that caused the problem that I then couldn't use the chassis on Zane's car, like what happened in qualifying last time. But as soon as I pitted Mick, it crashed Sargent instead. Like, I don't like doing that, but I literally had to do that to progress. All that comes after actually using my affiliate driver in practice 1, so Mick doesn't even have good track acclimatization because I had to sacrifice some minutes and momentum in his acclimatization in practice 2. He could have gone to about 96.
Our weekend continues with qualifying, as the drivers fight it out for a strong grid position.
Executing the perfect qualifying lap around Singapore comes down to absolute precision. The circuit needs high downforce and a good suspension to maximize grip on the bumpy street surface.
Esteban Ocon there, Karun. What's the feeling around him at the moment?
It's interesting because they weren't that fast in practice, I'm not sure if this was a lack of pace or just the team trying different things, but I imagine we'll see their true performance soon enough.
So get yourselves comfortable. It's going to be quite the ride.
Of course, a shorter lap than it used to be here because we don't go through that bit anymore. But that's a decent early salvo, as second laps actually matter for Zane Malone. He must have had traffic on his first attempt. Verstappen puts that straight into perspective. Okay, so we're a bit status quo as everyone's done their first lap. Stroll at the bottom is obviously out of place time. I would like to think with half a second to both Albon and Sargent pretty much thereabouts, we would be fine here, but you never know how track ramp up actually works in this game, because sometimes it actually seems to be a thing, sometimes it doesn't. Oh, that looks so much better with a black number on there as well. I didn't even notice it worked on there as well. Considering black is actually our third colour. You know what actually the easy solution for the numbers would be? Because they don't get used basically anywhere else. They sort of appear on the engineers, at least their costumes, uniforms. The black does appear as like a third colour there. But because it's only minorly used, the third colour in your team colours, in that basically place, it doesn't appear in your engine, in your garage, it doesn't appear on your garage, it doesn't appear on your boardings or pit wall thing. It should just be used as the number of the colour on the car. That's how they should coded it. Instead of just them being white for everyone, that's what they should have done with the third team colour, is make it mandatory that that's what colour is the number on the car. If they're going to fix a colour and not let you choose it of your own accord, that's how they should have done it. Because then you are technically choosing it as your third team colour, which doesn't really get seen anywhere else. Oh, I have forgotten to go on the tyres. It's Singapore in this evening. It's not that warm. It's warmer actually air than it is track, which is a rarity. We are going to be following a McLaren around as well, I think. Provided they're on a flying lap, which they are. Tyre usage here is actually really... I forgot everything else. We should be fine. Hulkenberg went faster, which did concern me, but I think other people are on in-laps. Ocon, Albon, Bottas, Stroll, actually all... No, they're all on flyers. We may have messed up here. I was too busy talking about other things. That's on me. Probably not even worth watching these laps because I have messed up. They'll have faster, probably second and third sectors. I suspect they probably did their fastest lap already. Bottas only usurps Albon, thankfully. It's Albon that I'm most worried about, but there are now only two people behind that. I can go faster, so we are fine. They don't even do a faster middle sector anyway, so irrelevant. Where is Albon? Oh, he's behind on track. Albon did do it, as did Stroll. Only 12th for Stroll, though. I will try not to mess it up this time round. We will go on green. It's such a weird line, as if you were going to go on any other colour. Imagine you gave that answer in a driving exam. We'll go on green. I thought, good. I would hope so. Otherwise, you fundamentally misunderstood the concept of a traffic light. I just feel like the softs are actually fundamentally useless here. I might try and remember that going forward. And try to remember to allocate more harder compounds for the race. Don't use a medium in practice. So making more danger here, but I think it's only marginal. Russell's had a bad one. Piastri's had a bad one. I think Albon's already done a second lap because I'm pretty certain he was behind one of our drivers originally. It's weird that in order to actually get tyre warm-up, you have to take them off the automatic mode, which sees them do the warm-up animation. Alright, so certainly attack these tyres from earlier in the lap. There's a little pocket of drivers up here that I don't know if they're on flying laps, but if they're not, I would like to get past them. There's one. There's two. Right, so we've timed that quite nicely, realistically. Let's do both at once, just so I'm not faffing around. Alright, so actually pushing out these final corners. Tyres actually up to temperature this time. Mixer warmer. I can't work that one out. Why randomly one driver has warmer tyres than another. Maybe they just get stuck behind another vehicle for a little bit longer. In fact, they might end up with hot tyres as a result of this. But we'll keep an eye on sector tyres. Bear in mind, of course, the first lap's done on used tyres. Very used tyres because of the deg rate here. So if these aren't faster, there's something fundamentally wrong with the game. There's something fundamentally wrong with the game. Maloney's gone faster. Just to be clear, the first flying lap that these drivers would have done, their soft tyres would have been on about 80-something%, 84, 85 maybe, at best. That's what their first flying lap would have started at. By the end of it, it would have been about 80%, because you lose about 5% for pushing here per lap. He's done a faster middle sector, that's good, that's got him up to peak. If I can fix the confidence issue, and if I could fix tyre wear rates / rubber rates, grip rates, whatever, if I could fix them somehow manually, or someone's fixed them manually, that would be the greatest quality of life improvement I could give this game and the community, because we just find 4/10 in total, does Mick. to bring him basically up to par, but that is as far as he's got. Maloney literally got hundredths by being on 15% better tyres, or 20% better tyres, depending on when that lap was done. 20% better tyres, and they can't actually make a significant improvement. I mean, Mick did, but Maloney was, I don't know what happened. It's farcical. The tyre wear rates are farcical in this. The benefit of bringing on brand new tyres needs to be coded in. Like, it's a quick kind of exponential down, then it stabilizes, and then it's an exponential drop off when you hit a certain threshold. Like, they haven't got that first bit in the game. They've got the last bit, but they haven't got the first bit. It's effectively an inverted S-curve, but it's what it should be. But both Max and Sergio with penalties is curious, along with Hamilton, who did get knocked out there. How qualified by Albon is concerned. But bear in mind, we actually were supposed to be 19-20 here. We'll take that, really. Depending on what the penalties are, they could end up behind. 10 places gets Sergio behind Zane.
Well, it's great to have you with us, folks, as we settle in for the weekend's Grand Prix action.
The walls around Singapore force the cars close together, and even the best can waver in the tight spaces. Back in 2011, we saw Lewis Hamilton clip Felipe Massa as the two battled it out. There were certainly some words exchanged after that one, as I'm sure you recall.
The bumpy street surfaces here make this a challenging circuit for the drivers, and the humidity causes them to lose as much as 3 kilos over the course of a race. But it's also tough on the cars, with 23 corners to tackle each and every lap. Good low-speed downforce will make all the difference here. The time has come to fight it out. It's race day.
Genuinely forgot it was a rainy race, so Zane's out of this one anyway. But there is some dry running. Do you know what? It's absolutely telling that the game says a 2-push medium is faster than a hard. That shows you how badly they've got the tyres sorted out in this game, because obviously you would think that would be the play. Although the rain is... I mean, they've got that fundamentally wrong. It is a medium. I'm just curious to see what happens with the estimated race time. Yeah, look, 1:44.02 to do a lightly pushed medium run, or 1:44, 13 seconds lower to be on the hard, but pushing them normally. In fact, no, you can't do that. I am just curious. At least not pushing a soft at all is factored in, but for some reason a medium on light does the job. I think actually realistically you can get away with medium, but I will put it on light just because you do want to push the beginning. If this is accurate, which it may not well be because I don't think our weather centre's been upgraded yet, I'm looking back here for the intermediate, and I'm looking back here for a wet, because it's roughly where these two cross over is the checkpoint. So it goes super wet, then dries out a little bit, but then it stays wet again. So I don't think you'd want to be on intermediates there. I think you'd be better off being on wets here and there than being on intermediates through all of this. The good news is that should theoretically work just in terms of tyres. They get through. And you can obviously go very aggressive on them, but I don't really know. It says obviously that's faster, but we don't know how that works really. I mean, that's basically this one. So let's set this up with the same. I'm looking about lap 28 because it's where these two cross over essentially. I'm just checking because you do get 2 wets. So I just want to check if 2 wets actually works out faster. No, that's fine. So let's fix Zane's strategy as well. So about 19 and sort of 30, wasn't it? Obviously yeah, that's the point. The rain will get fuel back. I can't imagine it's actually you can take 9 out. So rain will just get it back naturally. So we got 63 laps normally. I would normally take 4 or 5 out because that'll be half. We'll go 6 because of the rain and incident likelihood as well. But it is a medium to begin with. We'll go attacky. 13:50 means I think it's just Lewis Hamilton that's gone behind us. What a weird race.
Welcome back, everyone. The final preparations are now being made as we head into the race. A lot of people will be keen to see just how Zhou Guanyu will fare today.
Starting this one from 21st place puts them at such a disadvantage. They're bound to find this a difficult race.
and it'll be exciting to see just what will happen here today. We're just moments away from the Singapore Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go.
So I overlooked that. I'm guessing Yuki Tsunoda qualified second originally because he's actually started on pole because of Max Verstappen's demotion. And having started 13th, 15th, Maloney and Albon are fighting each other for 12th. Mick was fighting Hulkenberg, but got him quite easily by the looks of things. It looks like a lot of fuel we've got to get back, considering there were still 3 more laps we could have taken out. I didn't actually see what the 1 lap was, but if that's 6, it's got to be about 1/6 of 10 kilograms, essentially. So what's that, about 1.678, something like that? We'll call it 1.8 to be safe. 63 laps here, not as long a lap as it used to be. So, oh, Mick got Albon as well there. Wasn't paying attention. So the hard runners will struggle in this initial phase, then we've got to look after the tyres. Yeah, immediately looking at 19 or 20 for this rain. But yeah, we will be effectively 10 kilograms lighter than any other car here on fuel alone. And again, that's 10 kilograms of our fuel necessity, which is already a few kilograms lighter than everyone else. So we're likely going to be about, we're 10 kilograms lighter than the Alpines on fuel, and then a couple more kilograms lighter than everyone else, which is why we tend to be competitive. It's all about making those places early on and then holding on for dear life as the confidence system works against us. Yeah, so Albon unable to keep up on hards. I mean, the good news is we are now stuck on a train here. So I think we don't need to push anything. Mick as well, don't fight if you end up in a position where you want to fight. I will say that. Zane doing decent fighting here, actually. Rewatch that. Oof. Looks terrifying from there. Stroll's still on the outside at this point. Absolutely terrifying. Daniel Ricciardo, actually, considering Tsunoda was on pole, did not start that high. Actually going faster now. I've told him to, you know, line up on his tyres, which is baffling. Oh, I actually haven't told him to conserve fuel. Ah, right. So we're not in a train now because they did that fighting. Right, so we're going to have to let Stroll do that back in order to get caught up again. You're really making this hard, Zane. Stop overtaking Stroll again. I need someone, at the very least, to get caught up to Ricciardo. I don't care if it's you, I don't care if it's Stroll, but I figure Stroll would have more pace as a virtual safety car comes out. I'm going to guess that's behind. Oh, it's definitely behind because it's these two. So that looks like a rear wing hit. Sargent's got going again. I think he may have lost that end plate, so it's going to be Sargent into the back of Gasly at the danger spot. Yep. No, yeah, I mean, that's straight up assassination is what that is for 21st place. So it's a VSC to remove Gasly. So depending on how this goes when the VSC ends, Sargent gets a penalty of that, because of course he does. Because bear in mind, we're at 1.3 distance under VSC conditions, so when we get up to racing speed, that gap will be lower for Maloney. So I do wonder if he is within one second, or at least will be by the time we get to the detection point round here. So that's going to preserve the tyres, just naturally. In fact, we can maybe burn the extra just to get into DRS range. Or we could just let Ricciardo drive away. I mean, both work, really, and let Stroll through. I mean, either way works, Zane. Either way works. I didn't even see that one happen. I might watch it again. I was trying to get him into the RB's DRS, and for some reason, instead, this happened. Put him on aggressive, and somehow he went backwards. Okay, sit behind Stroll then. I don't care who you sit behind. Just sit behind someone. Look after the tyres until this rain comes, because we are not... Although we are back to 70. Actually, maybe it has upgraded. Or at the very least, whatever was cutting down his accuracy has sorted itself out. We're about to 70% accuracy, so it shouldn't be too bad in terms of this prediction. It does look a little different. That looks a little bit closer to being intermediate again. But typically, if you've got the the 4 lines, that's heavy rain. And therefore, that's wet conditions. So this is definitely wet. This is definitely wet. This bit in the middle, probably not wet. But it's whether... Again, it's balancing whether how slow intermediates will be in wet conditions versus how slow wet tyres are in intermediate conditions, which typically tends to be the lesser of two evils. Okay, so just trying to stay in Stroll's DRS for a moment there. Or overtake him again. Sure, whatever. I give up. I give up with him. He just doesn't know how to stay behind a driver. Please, for the love of God, can we have a command that says stay behind? We've got one to stay behind teammate. We haven't got one to stay behind opponents. Tsunoda's actually fighting for the win here, by the way. He stayed up there. Russell. Safety car is awkward here because we are... In fairness, that's now definitely going to be later for the intermediates, I think. Still maybe looking 20, but it might be more 21, 22 for intermediates. I think Ricciardo may be out. Perez missing front and rear wing as we're driving through now. That's 2 more retirees, and crucially, that's 2 retirees from in front. It's a safety car deployed as well. I'll pay attention to the front. Norris has pitted, interestingly. I don't know if Norris was on hards, but Tsunoda's gone for it as well. Piastri's gone for it. Oh, why are people pitting? Why are people pitting? The problem is Stroll, of course. Let's see what the overtaking, re-overtaking does to Sainz's confidence. Absolutely annoying mechanic. Right. Sainz has gone in. I mean, there's literally no reason not to. Leclerc's carried on, actually. He's the only one who has. Where's the pit entry? 600 meters. Verstappen's carried on. Russell's carried on. No, Verstappen's gone in. I mean, you can make a soft work from here. Oh, actually, no. Do I split the strategy? Do I do what Ferrari have done? Because the medium will get. The medium will get there. Split the strategy with Mick. Put him on a soft. This saves Logan Sargent, by the way, who wasn't even lapped in the end, but he will be able to get caught up. Russell's gone in. Alonso's gone in. It's impossible to know if Sargent's going in because Alonso's already in. Stroll's going in. Okay, so Leclerc was the only one who didn't. My issue now comes from double stacking. Annoyingly, because Leclerc hasn't pitted, they will pick Leclerc up. And I didn't get actually a chance to make a decision with Maloney because he decided to do the wipe. But we're going to risk it with Maloney because he's better on his tyres anyway. So I'm actually fascinated to know what people have gone on to. The people on hards have come back out again. So some of them have gone medium, some of them have gone soft is what I would have expected from people. Ricardo gets a penalty for the next race. We never actually got the replay of that incident. That was a slow pit stop, but such a weirdly timed incident though. The problem comes now in pinning Maloney because I think he is behind the safety car. Yeah, as soon as he gets caught up behind the safety car, he will then go slower. So, then Mick. We've got the tyre issues again, by the way. Thank God it's a crashy circuit. Yeah, so everyone's caught up now, so there's no point pitting him. That was the only chances if somehow people didn't get caught up. I mean, the good news is, with the rain now, I think we can just stay balanced on the fuel going forward. They still recover under a safety car. So, Mick. Oh, I need to put him back in. Great. So that's about lap 30. That's about lap 19. Still aggressive, still aggressive, still aggressive. So I think we can go for it with Mick, basically. But I am looking maybe 21-20. I'm definitely looking 21 for intermediates now. Lap 30 could still be the wet switch. But so similarly, I need to adjust that just to make sure we get to that. Safety car is ending, so we have to go aggressive post safety car. Fuel is definitely now back to a point where they will get it back under rain. Nobody's got tyres. It's quite funny. Piastri has, weirdly. Oh, no, he doesn't. So Maloney's got a problem. He is running second, but Maloney obviously doesn't have new tyres. Sainz has got a mechanical fault that's developed literally under the safety car. I'll watch it on board just because these are the only 2 cars that have tyres at the moment. Sargent maybe as well, who weirdly didn't actually pit onto the safety car, despite that being his best opportunity to actually get through people, pop on a soft. So the fun thing is Bottas is definitely going to hold up a few of these behind. Mick got Stroll. I completely overlooked the fact that Mick got Stroll in the pit stops because of their double stacking. This is why I didn't want to do it with Mick. So we benefited Mick here. So stupid. So naturally Norris has got Maloney there. Once we get DRS, we'll be in a lot better position here. It's weird that he doesn't actually end up getting closer to his medium confidence under a safety car. Tsunoda's got a mechanical fault, which might be a saviour. Turning on what kind of mechanical fault that is. Hopefully that's... I can't even stay within a second, annoyingly. Oh, no, he can. Sorry, that was to leader. That was to leader. DRS won't actually activate until the second DRS zone. So we need to keep pushing to there, essentially. Mick Schumacher was sad that he didn't get an overtake done, and now he's a second behind. Curious to know how that works. Maloney got really close. Somehow. To Norris. I don't know how, but he has. I'll keep pushing ERS with Zane, but kind of not happy to push... I'm kind of not happy to push anything else. But DRS will at least prevent some overtakes from happening here. But we've got to be careful here, tyre-wise. Hopefully there's enough in the car, at the very least, to keep him on, say, Tsunoda with engine problem speeds. Maybe that'll be enough. The longer we can sort of drag him along here, the better. Because we've not really lost out with Mick. He was 11th already, and now he's fighting Russell instead. So annoying, I can't actually get a thumbnail from these people because they don't have tyres. Bottas does, though. Can he get 2 for 1 here? No, didn't quite have the speed on Bottas, and Russell's going to get him back. That's annoying. Maloney, how are we doing, mate? Norris has got... Does this involve getting tyres back? No, it doesn't. Oh, this is such a stupid bug. Note to self, get thumbnails from the very beginning of a race. Why is this a problem? No, yeah. It does require a highlight to have a tyre in it to reset the tyres, so it requires someone hitting a wall effectively and watching that highlight. It's such a funny thing. Okay, so apparently we're not far off tyre-wise. Well, it's 4 laps. 4 laps to go. All right, so Tsunoda will get him now. Maloney's still got DRS for now. In fact, of course, Leclerc didn't pit either. So Leclerc is Maloney's saving grace here. Because as long as he can stay in the Ferrari's DRS, the Ferrari will drag him along. He's still deploying, unfortunately, which is I just realised, as is Mick. Mick going for an overtake here on Bottas outside of any DRS, which is fun. Thankfully, Bottas drops out of a second. Softs versus hards. I don't know why that even counted as an overtake attempt, because it clearly wasn't. Never mind. Maloney got taken by Tsunoda, but thankfully, oh god, and immediately dropped. Tsunoda's just gone for it. Maloney, can you stay in somebody's DRS, please? I mean, thankfully, you will do here. If I know they've not got tyres and therefore fundamentally faster in their hover cars, but it's so stupid. It's so stupid. So fascinating we're not seeing any rain at all yet. Okay, so we've still got 1 or 2 more laps before we see any rain. Maloney dropping off big time now. It's basically, as soon as I see the first drop of rain is... Alright, so confidence is now compounding as he's dropping behind everybody. 2 to 3 minutes, he needs to come now. You said it was coming last lap. That's what the gamble was on. I'm going to have to let you go normal speed now, mate, because you can't keep doing this speed. Multiple cars crashed. Are you okay? I mean, I'm hoping this involves banging tyres because... Oh, thanks, George. I mean, we exist, mate. I mean, enjoy your penalty there. That was unnecessary, George. Hey, he's got tyres back, though. Just as we're about to go to rain, I think, as well. Still no rain. We've been mugged off. Oh, it's come now. And no penalties given for George pushing Zane off the track, by the way. No penalties given. It's obviously not the optimal pit stop, is it, Zane? Let's be honest. So, Mick still has Don't Fight teammates on from before, so we have actually teched this perfectly well when you think about it, because we got Hamilton and Stroll through the pit stops because they double stacked. And Maloney's still ahead of Mick by the time the rains come, although Hamilton's going to get Mick now finally in the rain. But Zane's terrible in the rain and he doesn't have confidence at all. I think this will be a double stack moment. It weirdly didn't warn me of double stacking, but I think this will be a double stack. I think it's getting wet enough fast enough that by the time they're out of the pits, it's going to be fine. I mean, the saving grace here is that Mick's own adaptability isn't great. Everyone is actually pitting, interestingly. Even though the strategies initially said don't pit to like lap 40 or something stupid. How on earth has Hamilton got through there? That's so annoying. Hamilton's adaptability is obviously really good, and they forced him to do another lap. So this is the worst double stack possible then, because we are literally behind each other. So the benefit we got early on from not double stacking is utterly eliminated now, as they have forced Piastri and Hamilton to do that. We might get held for people as well, because we're at the end of the column. Slowish stop, and we definitely held for someone there. Russell, I think it was, who was actually behind us before. And Mick's being held for literally everybody, including the Haas, who just drove through him. That is farcical from our pit's perspective. That is farcical for Mick Schumacher, who basically can't not get his achievement, actually, because there's only 2 spaces. There's only 1 space in this race that he can't get money back from. 18th, obviously, the objective, so... And now nobody's got tyres again. Hamilton, we'll watch the gap to Hamilton to Norris here, because that should come down dramatically. Yep. Full second, full 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds almost by the time he actually gets in the pit lane. So we'll at least get Hamilton back. Although we won't get Hamilton back with Mick, because he was held by everybody. The good news is you can tackle these tyres quite dramatically, which is fun. Russell's issues got worse. Even better. I mean, worth knowing, Maloney is 7th and ahead of Verstappen. Sorry, I missed that in the pit stops. And he's attacking Russell's wounded vehicle. I mean, be careful, mate. You know what happened last time. Bafflingly, even though Hamilton lost about 2 or 3 seconds by staying out an extra lap, he is literally behind Zane again, which makes no sense whatsoever. Right. Whatever Russell's issue is, it's bad. Can we sort this out, please? Mick's showing you what to do, even if I don't know why we're watching the replay. They don't have tyres. There's no point watching any replays while they don't have tyres. They all look stupid. I mean, a Ferrari got mugged off with the double stacking as well. Sainz there, directly ahead of Mick. It has changed the order up dramatically. In fact, both Ferraris got mugged off. Leclerc's 11. Right, Maloney did get Russell. That's the thing. Watch him, he doesn't do it. As soon as you stop watching him, he's got him. Right, Russell, now hold up your teammate. That's what you need to do. Please just hold up your teammate for as many laps as possible as we drive away. Thank you, bye. Because we're going to burn these tyres, as it will get wet almost immediately. Of course, if the wear rate outdoes the prediction on here, then we'll have to come off them, but we'll make the most of them. The modicum of confidence he got from overtaking Russell is immediately undone by having Hamilton and Verstappen behind him. Although, actually, so far, fending off Verstappen, bizarrely. The wear rate's actually not too bad. I think it might be that, really, more to get to where we need to, but I suppose, actually, we've got so much wiggle room, it doesn't matter. Mick's still only 16th, unfortunately, because Sainz is having problems with Magnussen. So this is going to get dramatically wetter soon. But there's no point holding on to these tyres. Curious, Verstappen went through Zane, disappeared, got through Hamilton, and then has run off up the road. But now Maloney's in Hamilton's gearbox. Alright, so Mick, I need you to get Magnussen here, please. I mean, the good news is when they go to wet, there's no double stack. We don't have to worry about that anymore. The game sorted that one out for us. If you could, could you get past Magnussen, please, Mick? Can you get past Magnussen, please? Mick, I'll put you on deploy. Can you get past Magnussen? Thank you. Thank you for doing that. The barest minimum. So the good news is there's no other chasing 0-pointer teams. I know Williams have 4 points, and we have some now, but there's basically nobody in our best of the rest block that are in the top 10 either. Bottas is 11th, so if Russell blows up, he will get a point, which would be nice for them, I suppose. But because he'll only be 1 point, and at the very least they'll be ahead of Haas and Alpine as a result. I will check what Russell's issue is. It is gearbox. If it goes, he will retire. And he's gone fairly early in fairness as well. It's lap 29 and it's already been like that for a while. It's basically been like that since the rain started, so that's about lap 21, 22, isn't it? So he's going to make effectively 2/3 of this race on that gearbox without it blowing up. So I think Russell might retire from this race. Sargent, for whatever reason, I mean, does have he must have other mechanical, technical damage, other car parts. But Maloney running 8th again, thanks to a wounded Russell and Ricciardo and Perez retiring. Stroll, though, is a problem. Leclerc has fallen behind Hamilton as well, curiously. But Stroll's joined the party, and Zane's terrible adaptability is coming into play now. Still not got very wet. Ah, there we are. There goes the rain. As Stroll gets through. This was apparently the optimal lap. This is when it was predicted to get wet originally. 1.67. Everything's got shifted back a little bit. You can see the crossover there, basically, between rain levels and grip levels is... Maloney's actually good enough to fight Stroll, which is fun. We'll watch that one, actually. Nobody's still got tyres because nobody's crashed, so I haven't had a highlight to reset them. It's such a weird helicam highlight. Because it's always so silent in the helicam. It's like I've turned the sound off. Oh, there's a crash. I love the fact... Once again, we've had a crash about 2 seconds before the rain changes. So it's Sainz on Albon, curiously. Ooh, looks so weird without... It looks even weirder without the tyres, just because you can't see the impact properly. But I think that was front wing to rear wing. But everyone's about to change for wet tyres now. It's all a bit pointless. But that's got damage there, so Mick, time to go past Sainz if you would like. Thank you very much. Oh no, mind you, he hasn't got damage. It was just a time delay, unfortunately. So actually, I won't push him. Are we looking this lap or next lap of this rain situation? We're about to hit 3 millimeters, if I'm not mistaken. Piastri's coming. That's enough for me to say I'll do it as well, then. As long as one AI thought it was sensible, I'm going to follow suit. Because what I'm thinking is by the time he gets out of the pit, it's going to be about 3.3, 3.4, 3.5. So then by the time he gets round the lap, it's definitely going to be wet. Piastri, Hamilton, the only two to actually go for it, curiously. But of course, we've also burned those tyres. And this is actually really good news for us in that sense, because there's not a lot of people in here, which means we're not going to get held. Ocon's gone. Mick's now in as well. So it will be a double stack, essentially, but Mick's obviously so far behind. We shouldn't get held for anyone this time. 2.6, that's a better stop, actually, as well. Not great, but... And he doesn't have tyres again now. Comes out 14th for now. He's not going to get the benefit of those tyres for a little bit, but they're certainly not detrimental at 3.5. I was right on that front. Mick back down to 17th temporarily. 2.7 is not great. So he's not going to lose out on this lap, I don't think. But we've also pitted when there isn't a rush, crucially. Did Hulkenberg come in? No, they didn't. So that's our marker point. Hulkenberg, if we catch him over the course of this lap. Norris pits this time round, which is the right thing for them at the very front. But it's kind of the people in the mid-pack that might not get the benefit. We certainly have warm tyres as well by the time we get out. So we are catching Hulkenberg now. Like, the gap to Hulkenberg is coming down. So anyone who hasn't pitted yet, and Leclerc's gone round again, they're really mugging Leclerc off. Anyone who's still on track now and is yet to pit is losing time. Piastri obviously pitted with us, so he's gained there. But, in fact, I think it's Norris from Piastri now because Leclerc hasn't pitted. So we'll see now, effectively, Hamilton also pitted with us, of course. So we'll see now what the pit stops actually did for us. Because it was Maloney versus Stroll, essentially. Fighting on pit exit again. So he's not really gained us, he's not really lost us, but we are ahead of him, and that was wild. But we now have warm tyres. He's got to warm his up. Mick, similarly, how are we doing with Mick? Sainz is obviously the target, ideally, here. We've got Albon, though. Sargent's going to hold things up a bit. So we'll try and deploy through him, just to make sure we clear him as quickly as possible. Thank you very much, Sargent. Out of the way. Leclerc now pits. So that might actually be a position for Maloney, because Leclerc was ahead. Had enough. He had enough in the bank, I think, to still come out ahead of Maloney. But Stroll is a full second behind now, having warmed his tyres up. He might start inching in. Might have to do a bit of recovery at some point still. Still coming back slowly. Lap 34, 2.2. We'll keep an eye on that. Yeah, so it's going to stay this way for a while. This is... it's going to dip under, but everyone's in the same boat. Almost literally, actually, considering nobody's got tyres. They are more akin to boats. In this weather. So Mick's not necessarily closing on Sainz, but I think he is closing on Ocon, who did pit and benefited from the first round of double stacking, I think, more than anything, since his teammate was out. I think we're getting about 0.2 a lap back of fuel, because we've gone all the way around there, and it's now 2-0. So 20 laps, 10 laps, yeah, more than enough, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, so we are closing on Ocon ever so slowly. I think it's every time Sainz maybe has a little nosy, it forces Ocon into a defensive manoeuvre, and that pushes them back slowly but surely. Bottas kind of cleanly running an 11th right now. He's a couple of seconds out of Ocon, but well off Russell in 10th, who has the issue, of course. As fun as a wet race can be, it hasn't sort of calmed itself out, and everything's very delayed here. It's gone up to 5, and now it's saying it should be going down. Our 70% accurate weather is not great. You'd think it would at least have some... like, you'd think we got it vaguely right. 70% is quite good. It's a B, for God's sake. That's better than average, is 70%. Coming down now, though. So this will go under 4 again. It's whether people pit is curious. Because I think when it goes under, we're going to have to say, oh, actually, that's not doing it anymore as much as it said it was going to. I'm curious to know what people are actually doing with their tyres. They're actually not pushing them at all. I want to see if Mick can actually get into Ocon's DRS. Not DRS, you know what I mean. It's not active right now, of course. But I want him to get within a second. Because I want him to hurry Sainz up, really. So it goes under to damp right now. So that's a case of cool these tyres down, please. Because they will overheat for this period. So getting those temperatures down is the most crucial thing we can do. Everyone's in the same boat. Nobody's pitted off them. Russell's still going. 20 laps on those tyres. On that gearbox, as things stand. Interesting that Mick is now in Sainz's gearbox. I don't know what's happened there. Now he's stopped pushing. Yeah, so this period's obviously going to harm these tyres quite badly, actually. It's gone down to 2.8. Why does it just keep lying to me? But it will go back and it will get, like, terrible. So Mick didn't stay with Sainz. So this will take a big chunk of these tyres out while we wait for them to go up. Yeah, we're only struggling in this bad adaptability zone, but keeping Stroll at bay, which is good as they get back to where they should be. And it's wet again. Sainz did get Ocon in all of this, by the way. So everyone's going to be in a similar boat here. Russell's somehow on 77%. I don't know how he's managed that through that period. Like, I was on light there and didn't save the tyres. So keep them on a regular push. They should get to the end now. Although if you could just maybe catch up to Ocon, that'd be great, Mick. Albon's getting a smidge closer. Could be more points for Maloney. Actually, this will get him ahead of Mick, right? Because Mick was on 6 points before. Maloney got 4 from the last race. So if you can maintain it to Stroll, I mean, again, benefited from 2 people crashing out this time, but you got to be there. You got to be in it to win it, or 8th place it. Yeah, so Mick, if you could just drive a little bit closer to Ocon, that'll be superb, mate. Just get closed in. Nab a 13th, just for fun. Why not? I'm actually pushing Mick at this point, and he's not keeping up with Ocon. Go for it on the fuel, mate. Go for it on the fuel as well. Use everything. Get close to Ocon. I can't let you use the tyre, though, unfortunately. Shogun News retired. Literally cannot fail to get our objective now. Even if we retire, we still finish 18th. How are we not getting within a second of Ocon? What is happening? I'm taking off battle assist because I don't think it's helping. 3 people in the top 10 have serious issues. We need to get Ocon. I'll bring the engine temperature down in case that's what's the cause is. He's actually fighting. He's going to be fighting Albon behind now because for some reason he can't get past Ocon. I don't understand it. Right, temperature's back down again. Go for it again. I don't understand what's happening. Russell's retired. Bottas is going to get a point. I feel like something just happened to Ocon because he went to like several seconds down, but we didn't really gain on him. I mean, this is a thrilling race. I mean, I'm glad Russell at least retired because he literally retired like on lap 60 there. He went about for almost 40 laps with that gearbox as it was. I mean, there's 2 laps to go. I've not really shown you any of this race up to this point because nothing's happened since the rain occurred. Norris and Piastri are 1 and 2. Verstappen 3rd. That's made things interesting at least. But though Piastri's got an issue, so Verstappen might nick 2nd. Alonso 4th is interesting though. Ahead of Leclerc. Tsunoda 6th with an issue. Hamilton 7th, but only still just running around ahead of Stroll, who's suddenly decided to appear. Okay, can we deploy away from him? Thank you. You've got actually more tyres. You just attack them for the last 2 laps, mate. You're fine. 2 and a bit laps because the leader is... Wait, Mick's lapped? No. Sorry, that's the other Ferrari, isn't it? Wait, so yeah, Mick is lapped. Oh, Mick's lapped. That's why there was a slowdown between Sainz and Ocon, because they were being lapped. So we've actually only got 1 more lap with Mick, so push these tyres, mate. Push them. I mean, Nick at 12th, why not? Like I say, Maloney needs to drive away from Stroll here to maintain these points. Thank you very much. Nobody's nobody's got tyres because nobody's crashed since going on to wets. So I can't. I suppose I could have maybe watched Russell or Zhou Guanyu retire. Maybe that would have reset things because maybe they count them as crashes in the same file as whatever's resetting them. Oh, Mick, we're going to have an issue here because you're about to be lapped by other people, so you're not even going to catch Ocon, are you? Deploy, Mick, deploy away, deploy. Don't get lapped by these 2. Or do, you know, whatever. Whatever floats your boat, mate. Don't get closer to Ocon. Totally up to you, mate. Zane's not actually finished yet, by the way. I don't understand how he's not caught Ocon. I do not understand that. We have a faster car. Why is he not caught Ocon? Norris, Piastri, Verstappen is how it finishes, though. We've got 4 seconds to Stroll. We won't push the tyres anymore. Everything else we can go with because that's to burn, really. Although I suppose that hurts the engine. So for a third of a lap, just take off the pressure off the engine. That's fine. Maloney nearly lapped Stroll because of his damage in the end. Sargent, sorry. But Bottas gets a point. Signs up his chuff, but Bottas gets a point. I'm so glad somebody else has got a point. I mean, there's 5 retirements here, don't get me wrong, and 3 of them were point scorers. Russell, Ricardo, Perez, but no, Alonso ended up 6th, I think. Back-to-back 8th places. No, it's not number 1, Zane. It's not number 1, is it? No, I'm so much happier when he's actually won the race. Does end with the McLaren 1-2, though. As we may well get in real life. I'm calling this before Monza. This was actually more of a mixed bag this time, actually, crew, and you were actually spot on this time round. Mick's still up 2 places, actually, worth saying, but lapped all the way up to Valtteri Bottas in the end, which is probably what put Carlos Sainz on his tail. Sainz absolutely mugged off by that first set of pit stops as well, and the intermediate one, same with Mick, both of them lost out in that, but Hamilton recovered as a result of those in the end, as did Max Verstappen from his penalty. But McLaren 1-2, he was on pole. Yuki Tsunoda, of course. Forgot about that. It seems so long ago. Orlando's 26 points. I mean, Max won this ages ago, which is so annoying. 12 race wins. It's, yeah, stupid. But in fact, Oscar hasn't actually won a race yet. And his only podiums have come in the last couple of races, as they commented on being on the podium recently. That will actually take Zane ahead of Mick as a result of two 8th places in a row. Valtteri Bottas goes to the top of the what were the non-point scorers. Esteban Ocon actually gets Kevin Magnussen on countback as a result of that finish. Maybe that's why he was fighting for 12th. Actually, what does that do for Alpine? No, Haas still ahead though. So with Nico Hulkenberg, so Haas should still have the countback on Alpine overall, and Valtteri Bottas now has a point. So Alpine will still be bottom, but Kik will now have a point. We put a gap now to Williams, 10 points, which for teams like us is another league really. Like no good pit stops. About the best one was Maloney's first one, 2.5. But there's the 800k, which we'll put into the memorabilia room, which will also help Vitality as well in the long term. And I think it takes 7 days to do it. The upgrade to the weather center actually came during the weekend and actually got the benefit of it. Maloney actually goes to 80, which might start explaining this gap as appearing between their results. So weather center up to 70%. which we got the benefit of, weirdly. Ah, yes, the sporting director, as Randeep Singh got poached. Why is Gary poached? Hang on, we didn't even get a talk of this. RB want Gary Gannon. All right, so we do need to replace Gary Gannon, who was out of contract anyway. So no seasons. Okay, that makes zero sense. Wait, has he gone immediately? No. Okay, that was really weirdly worded. It sounded like he was going immediately. So Ivano has a contract agreed already with Red Bull, with Ferrari for next year. So wait, what? I'm so confused. I'm not going crazy here, am I? I'm sorry to say, Ferrari has offered a contract to Randeep Singh and is significantly better than our offer. We don't have the details of what Ferrari offered, but it was too good for Randeep to continue talking to us. Contract agreed 1st of January. What? So Randeep now won't talk to us because Ferrari offered him a contract, but Ferrari have offered their own one, who is better, admittedly. Why Ferrari effed us here? What have we done to Ferrari to deserve this? They just unsettled him and then mugged him off as well in the process. Because he's being replaced by Ron Meadows. He's certainly not staying no matter what happens. Mercedes replacing theirs, Ron Meadows, with Andy Stevenson. I can see Jonathan Wheatley's actually got a contract now for 1st of January. Or at the very least, that's a thing. I'm glad you don't need to scout them anymore to see that. You do need to see everything else, though. Because these are things that will be well known in the industry. The fact they have cost to terminate contract available is, I think, an error. But so I could try and do a faceless sporting director, but he still has bad processes, which is the thing that I really need to improve with Toby. I mean, it's 71, it's not awful, but that is his bad one. Because that's the thing that's really hurting us, is the fatigue rate. Now, the interesting thing is, these two here are being stolen by Williams, in case you're wondering, and Kix Albert, the 83 and the 82 ones. Which I kind of get Williams, because Paul Sven is only 79 rated. Marco Peroni is still contracted to them. Because I remember rightly, Peroni was actually arguably one of the better ones, because he had... whilst he was 81 rated, he was skewed towards the best attribute when we did the save last year. Oh, wait, so Aston Martin are actually taking... because theirs has been taken by Mercedes. So we're stuck. We either need Randeep Singh or Capietto. That's the only thing we can do, or stick with Toby Brown for another year, because he is contracted for another year. So it's either a minor improvement or no improvement. And I think because Randeep will be out of contract in January, he will then be able to talk to us. And we'll have to do it immediately. McLaren have gone for Paul Aaron as well. They nicked both Enzo Fittipaldi and before the race, and Paul Aaron now. So that's two of the people we were talking to. This is why I re-signed Carpentier. McLaren just want all of them. Yeah, take Betty. He's not good. Does he have? He's 57 rated and he has high development rate rather than very high. It's not what we necessarily want. So counter offer for Padrumu. Can we take this off 21 days? No. Okay, so we have to wait still. But what was the previous offer? Ah, it's the breakout multiplier. That's the problem. I'll give you another 100,000 to give you an actual breakout multiplier, and we'll wait another 21 days apparently, which is fine because it's 25 till the next race. Oh, and I almost forgot to do Memorabilia Room, which is about to tip under and gives us more mentality as well for good measure. Hospitality, I don't know what to do because it's 1.8 million. I'm not paying more money. So it looks like this chassis is going to come in later. Oh no, Poblette's gone. What a shame. Rick's only gone up in overtaking, which is wild. Stop going up in cornering, Zane. It's the thing you don't need. Reactions is going up though. I never noticed his reactions were so bad. So boardroom and Memorabilia Room up. Marketability is up, which I think helps our payouts. In sponsorship for next season, and the mentality goes up for everyone involved, although it is still just Mick Schumacher, who's at least back to negative, but for reasons that make sense, rather than being facility upgrades down, which means that Zane is not up for those same reasons as well. He's just less mad about the facilities, is the difference. If we could sign another staff member, that might actually make them happy again. Okay, Dennis Hauger's not gone. No. I mean, this stupid money is the problem. Because I'm just fed up of not having them. I mean, for what is actually literally only the sake of 200k for what they actually want. Wait, cost to break contract is 2 million. Why? It'd be 2 million to do it now. In fact, that actually might make... Oh, no, it doesn't. Actually bring his breakout multiplier up. Well, we'll hire from next season because that doesn't actually cost us any money. Can't get him in now, unfortunately, but... I actually forgot we had hired Abby Pulling from next season as well already. I guess he just has an insane breakout fee because he's on 600k, so he must have an insane breakout multiplier to get him in immediately. All right, Padrumo's come back. It's not been 21 days. I don't know why they say 21 days. Because I just want this saga to be over, frankly. I'll give you 300 more K a year to tell me now that you want to join. Thank you. In you come. Pajuma's in. Which, we'll have a look at now, has made my drivers sadder. Somehow. He's actually unhappy with his contract salary now for some reason. And he's sad that we've signed staff. Right, so Mick is fundamentally broken on a... How have they broken the game more with this last patch? They've fixed so many things and yet somehow they've broken this. At least he's happy with the facility upgrade. Out of curiosity. Oh, Randeep is Randeep's available to talk to again. And I'm fed up having this faff around, so 3 seasons is your highest. Take 3 million, come in next season, offer that contract immediately. How is that declined? That was literally what you asked for. This is clearly broken, by the way. Attitude, very unhappy. You didn't get back to me, mate. We got Hauger in though, so that doesn't matter. We got one of them in. That's the main thing. So I presume he won't talk to us because it's race day, but it's now low. I'll get him when he's a free agent because then he won't be annoying. Because he's trapped now. He literally, everyone else has got one contracted in. He has nowhere to go. So I think that might be an idea. Get him immediately January the 1st. Actually, I've just noticed we got 8.9 million because of the payout there. This could be the chance because it's about to dip under to upgrade the hospitality area. But we'll leave that there. We'll bring you the United States, which is a sprint race, so not going to be using the affiliate driver in this one. But it will be a sprint race, so a bit more action involved in that particular weekend. In fact, it will alternate between sprint race, not sprint race, for the rest of this season, in fact. So if you enjoyed this episode, then do like, comment, subscribe. You know the deal by now. Until that next time, ta-ra.